In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to replace the Human Touch Forti massage mechanism. As you can see, we've tipped the chair forward, supporting it in this case with a box. This just makes it easier to work if you can tip the chair forward onto a sturdy object. First thing we need to do is to remove the backrest cover. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, we're going to remove the 4 screws along the back panel and 2 on each side. Once the screws are all removed, you can lift carefully the backrest cover up, but only far enough to expose the connectors and the ground wire. If you let the backrest cover fall back too far, you may break the connection there. So sort of prop it up and disconnect the 2 connectors. Then use a Phillips head screwdriver to disconnect the ground wire screw from the backrest cover. Once you've disconnected the connectors and the ground wire, you can then lay the backrest cover backward out of your way. Next, we're ready to disconnect the massage mechanism connectors to the main PCB. First thing we need to do is remove the 2 screws that secure the massage mechanism cable harness to the massage mechanism track, and then the screw that secures the PCB box to the chair frame. That'll allow us to lift that box up and turn it horizontal so we can start removing all of the screws that secure the top cover to the lower cover. As you can see, there's both a smaller and a larger cover. So first remove the smaller cover and then remove the 2 cables from the larger cover's cable guides. Just remove those 2 covers to get them out of the way. Next, we're going to follow the massage mechanism cable harness and disconnect the zip ties that are securing it to the PCB box. There's 2 along the side there. And then we need to follow the cables coming from that harness, disconnecting any zip ties as we go in order to free all of the cables coming from that harness from the main PCB. Once the harness is free, then we're ready to free the massage mechanism itself from the backrest. First thing we need to do is to remove from the right-hand side only all of the screws that secure the plastic track. Once those screws are removed, then we need to lift up on the track to remove it. Be careful with the grease. Set it somewhere where the grease does not end up where it doesn't belong. Then lift up, pull the massage mechanism slightly toward you, and then kind of tip it as necessary to get it out from between the tracks. You'll note there's two bushings on each side of the massage mechanism. Remove those bushings as you will need to use them when reinstalling the new massage mechanism. To install the new mechanism then, we're going to first install those 4 bushings we just removed onto the posts. And then we're ready to lower that mechanism into the track. Align the 2 bushings on the left-hand side of the mechanism into the slot of the track and push that in as far as it will go. And then we need the track that we removed from the other side. We're going to lift up on the right-hand side of the mechanism, and it's okay if the track on the left bends a little bit, and install the track onto the right-hand side with the bushings aligned properly in the slot of the track. Then lower the track all the way down, flush with the chair frame. Once the right-hand side of the track is in, we need to check the spacing on the bottom ends of the track to make sure it looks consistent between the left and the right side and the chair frame. Check all of the screw holes on the right-hand track to make sure that they are aligned, and also check the spacing at the top of the track between the top of the track and the chair frame to make sure that looks consistent. It would technically be possible to have the robot out of alignment by 1 track tooth or so, and we can't have that. It needs to be properly aligned. So by looking at all those 3 factors, the screws and the spacing on the top and the bottom, we can be assured that the track is in alignment. Next, we're ready to replace the screws that secure the right-hand track. Next, we're ready to begin reconnecting the cable harness connectors coming from the new mech to the main PCB. If you notice the cable bundles coming out of the harness, there's larger connectors in one bundle and smaller connectors in the other. So we'll start with the larger connector bundle. And it's very easy to see where those connectors go as they're color coded. And then do the same with the remaining connector bundle. Once all of the connectors are connected and secure, we need to install new zip ties to resecure those bundles as they were previously. First, we need to place the cable harness where the part that's wrapped into the cable guide on the PCB lower cover. That kind of helps get the cables situated. And then simply replace the zip ties. If you recall where they were exactly before, that's great. Otherwise, just in general, the idea here is to zip tie them so they stay generally in place and don't place undue pressure on the connectors by being stretched. This also prevents the cabling from getting pinched between the upper and lower covers. Next, we're ready to install the larger of the two PCB covers. Slide the cover in under those two larger black cables with the cable guide facing upward toward the top of the chair. Align the screw holes and then replace the screws to secure that larger cover. Next, we'll position those cables inside the cable guides from the larger cover. And then we can place the smaller cover into position. and replace the screws to secure it. Now we're ready to position the PCB box properly inside the frame, simply tipping it on its side. Next, we'll replace the single screw that secured the PCB box to the chair frame. Next, we need to align the plastic cable clamp on the massage mechanism harness with the corresponding holes on the robot track, and replace the 2 screws to secure it. This holds the cable harness right in place where we need it. Okay, and finally we're ready to raise the backrest cover up so that we can reconnect the 2 connectors and resecure the ground wire screw to the backrest cover. Next, we're ready to lower the backrest cover into position. And if you look on the side of the underside of the backrest cover, you see those slots. Those need to go over, there's 3 on each side, those need to be positioned over the metal rail of the chair frame. When the backrest is properly placed, it should look very flush, like so, with the upholstered backrest structure. Should be nice and clean and even.
And obviously, these holes lining up with the holes in here.
And the last step then is to replace the screws. And we're done.